everybody, welcome back to On the Run, coming to you live. If you're listening right now on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, send us a message. Very exciting show today. We're talking Birmingham Diamond League, recapping that. We also have a special guest, Gabby Thomas. I'm Kevin, joined by Lincoln. Jenny, how you guys feeling?
Good as always. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Track season slowing down, cross-country season ramping up. Jenny?
I guess you could say track season slowing down, unless you're watching the Diamond League, that is.
That's true. It's been going on for so long. I'm starting to lose track of the months, I think, at this point.
For those at home, my birthday's coming up, and I always associate my birthday with the end of the Diamond League season, so it's a good time of year for me.
Yep. Winners all around. Let's go to our guests right now. Joining us, Harvard junior Gabby Thomas. She was the NCAA record holder indoors in the 200, went on to finish second at the NCAA meet outdoors, just qualified for the Brussels Diamond League. She joins us from Boston. Gabby, thank you for coming. How are you?
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. I am doing really well right now. I'm really excited to travel to Brussels and finish out the season. So, yeah, pretty good.
You've been doing so much traveling, Gabby. I'm wondering, at the beginning of the year, when you started out, did you think that your season was going to go all the way to the end of August with you competing at a Diamond League final?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I couldn't have imagined this. I wasn't even sure I was going to Europe until I actually just went. So the first trip to Europe, I thought I would just be competing through London, and that was a long season for me. That was really long. And so when I had the opportunity to go to Birmingham and then Brussels, it was completely unexpected. So no.
Was it just a situation of you kept getting better? You got that PR in the London Diamond League, so you might as well stick it out? Or I'm wondering how all this stuff sort of comes together with you doing a collegiate season and then all of a sudden, going to Europe and sticking around.
Right. So, coming up the collegiate season, I don't know how well I'm going to run. We weren't training for this long season, so you don't really know how it's going to go. You're competing against the best in the world, so you also don't know how you're going to compete against those girls. So to have it go so well and then to, qualify and be invited back to compete in the finals, how do you turn that down? So.
Yeah. And speaking of your season going really well, Kevin counted up how many races you've run so far this season. You're at 42, coming up on 43, and you're still running fast. How are you feeling mentally and physically right now? And what have you been doing to successfully combat that fatigue?
I'm not going to lie to you. It is very mentally challenging. I just posted about it on my Twitter. The collegiate season is quite long, especially for us at Harvard. We have our first meet at the beginning of December. And then, now that, I'm competing in the postseason. So postseason, I don't have too many teammates. So I've really been competing by myself for almost 3 months now. And that's really difficult, just to, go out to the track and motivate yourself and not have anyone to run with you. But it's so exciting and so motivating, just knowing that, I'm going to go and I'm going to be competing against truly the best women, the most competitive women that, that I'll ever compete against. So it's a matter of just finding it within yourself and within your own mindset. Just be determined. And when I'm training by myself, you have to bring the intensity, because the girls are going to bring the intensity, when I get to Europe. So yeah, I will say it's very mentally challenging. I am tired, but it's a long season for everyone too. Not just me as a collegiate athlete. It's been a long season for everybody. But that doesn't matter. When I'm on the line, what matters is who's going to run fast. And so that's what I have to keep in mind.
Yeah, and the last race you were in Birmingham, that was a hot one. Can you walk us through the race and what that was like, racing against such a stout field?
Yeah, that was a really stacked race. I'll say that. It wasn't my best race. I think I did let the fatigue kind of get to me in that one, which I won't do in Brussels. But I think it's really humbling and just really amazing to be able to compete against a field like that. And I think it's an amazing opportunity for me, especially just as a collegiate. I have one more year. And so to be able to have this opportunity to run against these really experienced girls is such a blessing. The entire opportunity itself, just talking to them and being able to just see, all these professionals' mindset and just see how they compete and what it's like to be on such a big stage, I think it's such an advantage for me, just especially with how young I am.
speaking of your competitors, you've certainly established yourself as an equal among the best 200-meter runners in the world. But has there been a moment or a particular athlete this season that you've been next to on the line and you've been like particularly starstruck by?
So I mean, honestly, all of them. I think they're amazing. They have these long seasons, especially Shanae Miller-Rabo. She's just an amazing athlete, and it's just so humbling to just be on a line next to them. Same with Jenna Prandini, just to have so much consistent success over the years, and for them to stay motivated is just so impressive to me. But when I'm on the line, I'm thinking about myself. I'm thinking about what I need to focus on to get across the finish line. But before I step on the line or after I step off the line, I definitely take a minute to think about that. And they're such amazing role models. Just all the traveling, especially that, I found that this season, traveling and stepping up to the line, it's a lot. It's a lot on your body. So I really I have a lot of newfound respect for these athletes.
And you mentioned the traveling. Obviously, you're in Europe for the track season and everything, but you've been to a lot of fun countries: Morocco, England, Switzerland. Is there one thing you've done away from the track that that stood out above the rest? Have you had a chance to do any sightseeing or anything fun away from the track in all those countries?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was my first time actually in Europe. Period. So as soon as I stepped off the plane, I was in Lausanne, Switzerland. I went sightseeing. It's so beautiful. So Switzerland by far is just like the most astounding place that I've ever been. It's stunning. Just the mountains. I remember when I was in Lucerne, I took a trip and we went to like the top of the mountains. We were so high in the air, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I have so many pictures, and it was just so much fun. Yeah, I did a lot of traveling and walking around and exploring during my first month in Europe. So. Absolutely.
Certainly ups the intrigue of your Instagram page to be able to have all those places to travel to. You're a lot more interesting to follow, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Has this experience at all, changed your opinion or perspective on, going professionally? Obviously, that's a career goal of yours, but you still have another year in college. Have you thought about just going right to the professional ranks?
I have, yeah, absolutely, definitely. So before this season, actually, I hadn't even thought about running professionally, just outside of college. It was just going to be kind of a four-year career plan, and then that was probably going to be it. But then my junior year, I started considering it, for after I graduate, and I definitely have thought about running professionally this upcoming year. So it is a conversation. I do think, it just depends on a lot of factors. Of course, I'd be happy to go back to the NCAA. It's a lot of fun. 1 more year of eligibility, that's kind of a big thing to give up. But I also know that it's a really good season for me right now. So we'll just see what happens. I have a few weeks to make this decision. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't have long because you guys start racing again in December, and you're still in the 2017-18 season, and 18-19 is right about.
Either way, I'm taking time off. Either way, I'm not looking at a track for for at least a month after Brussels.
So no Harvard cross country season for you this year. Yeah.
No, the cross country girls are training already, so no, they could do that.
a whole month off. That's crazy. Well, how does it work in terms of like a collegiate athlete going to Europe and competing in terms of like finances and all that stuff? That whole world is pretty fascinating to me. How does that work?
I know. So, you have to really work closely and make sure that people are doing what they need to do to make sure that you stay eligible. Mm-hmm. Because the last thing you want is to become ineligible and you can't go back to the NCAA and then you're being forced into a professional career. So we've been very careful about that. All the money, comes from the meet directors and they finance it. So nothing has come out of my pocket, which I've been really grateful for. So it's just, a free trip, free opportunity, like amazing. It's been such a blessing. The only thing is that I can't wear my Harvard gear. So, you see me out there unsponsored. I'm just wearing, athletic clothes. So I can't wear my Harvard gear. I can't go back to Harvard and run. So that's the only thing. But yeah, no, it's all worked out perfectly. So I'm really happy about it. And but right now it's up to me to make the choice. Do I want to go pro this year or do I want to come back?
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know if we had told the audience at home, but you're currently at work. Is your boss like going to be looming around the corner looking for you? Or?
Oh yeah, my boss is right here.
Oh yeah, can we say hi?
He's coming in. Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, boss.
Do they want us to give you or you to give them a plug for your work or?
Yeah, tell people what you're doing at work. Like, what field are you in?
I'm working at the Hyams Foundation downtown in Boston. It's this great foundation here that does a lot of really good work with racial inequalities in Boston. So they do a lot in affordable housing here, but they do really, really meaningful work. So I've really enjoyed my time here. So when I'm not traveling to Europe, I spend my weekdays here doing this internship.
Very cool. And before we let you go, we got one question here we wanted to ask, not a question that we had, but Israel wants to know, what's your favorite track memory?
My favorite track memory? Well, it's got to be the collegiate record from NCAAs, for sure. That was an amazing feeling. Really nothing like it.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite memories from this past NCAA season as well. It was really great getting to see that in person.
It was just 25 races ago, right? It just was like,
oh
just
my
like
gosh.
that.
I can't believe it.
Time flies. Well, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy work and travel schedule. Gabby, best of luck in Brussels and in your decision going forward. We appreciate you taking the time.
We'll be cheering you on.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Gabby. All right, thanks to our guest, Gabby Thomas, our first ever guest at work.
Yeah,
I think.
that's safe to say.
Yes.
I think you can.
I mean, doing Harvard proud there, right?
Yeah.
Just showing the overachieving nature of Harvard. Oh, in between Diamond League meets, I'm just gonna work.
I'm working,
Yeah.
and I'm doing interviews with FloTrack.
Yeah.
You know.
all at the same time
Resume
there.
builders there.
Yeah.
I mean, her season has just been remarkable. We talk about the volume of races too, but just the quality
Yes.
of races too. It's not just like she's been running a bunch of mediocre times, and she hits her peak indoors, right? You think that's her peak? Oh, collegiate record, and that was in March, and then now we're in August, and she's still running hard. Like that to me is just incredible to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, yeah. And she mentioned in Switzerland, her highlight was like seeing the Swiss Alps, but she also won the Lausanne Diamond League. So that could have been a highlight as well. But
Well, we
yeah,
did
you
kind of
mentioned that.
specifically ask her about sightseeing
you're
beforehand.
right.
No, you asked her about Instagram specifically.
Yes.
Sorry.
Want to know about the gram?
And the mountains are a lot cooler
Yeah.
than I think winning.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that Diamond League meet, not in Lausanne, but in Birmingham. Jenny, your favorite race, your highlight. I think you're going to go 200.
Highlight.
Yeah.
Yes, I am going 200.
Good segue.
So yeah, that was your pick for the race to watch last week. And man, did it deliver.
Yeah.
So not only did we have a field full of all-stars show up in Shawnee Miller-Weibo, Dina Asher-Smith, Daphne Skippers, Jenna Prandini, Shrika Jackson, of course, Gabby Thomas. Luke, Kyra Jackson, it was just an unbelievable field. But the way that the race played out was ridiculously entertaining.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, Dina Asher-Smith got a really hot start. She was leading in right from the get-go. And then around the turn comes Jenna Prandini, and they were almost neck and neck heading into the home stretch. And then, boom, here comes Daphne Shippers. And she's looking like she's going to take it.
Yeah.
And then Shawnee Miller-Weibo, she looks like she just made a decision.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, I'm going to go right now. And it was with 50 meters to go. She starts lifting her knees really high, and she just takes it in. It was really scary, actually.
Yeah.
Because for someone to have save a gear like that with that much race left is it's really something.
It was like 4 races in one.
Yeah.
Also, the running aside, Shawnee Miller's hair.
Oh my God, I love it.
The
I'm
half
obsessed.
pink, the half purple. Can you break that down for us? Or
yeah.
Lincoln, you can too. I don't want to make this just a
Well, my wife has had pink hair in the past,
Oh,
so
this is
I
true,
consider
this is
myself
true.
an expert. And yeah, that's in all seriousness, very, very good. It's in right now. Pink's very much in right now. So
Okay.
I kind of
did
after
not
I
know
saw
that.
that, I need to get a haircut pretty soon. I was like, maybe I'll throw a dye job in there too.
Yeah.
inspiration.
50
Hair inspiration.
50-50 split. down
Comment
the middle.
below if you think I should go through with it.
My highlight of the meet, underrated performance, Stuart McSwain. Probably haven't heard that name much before this year. From Australia. He's only 23 years old. He won the Emsley Car Mile there, led an Aussie 1-2 finish. But it wasn't just this race for McSwain. I mean, he's nailed personal best in the 1,500, the 3,000. He took all sorts of big names down when he ran that in a Diamond League earlier in the season. And he's actually going to be appearing in the 5,000 later on in Zurich or Brussels. I don't know. Brussels. There we go.
Yeah.
Whichever one has the PR there. Pointing at the crowd there. He's already got the celebration thing down.
Who do you
But
think he's pointing to there?
I mean, that
Mom!
would be a good.
Yeah.
It's a Ben Flanagan move. Where's my
Yeah,
mom?
where's my mom?
Yeah. I mean, you see Gregson behind him there to McSwain's left. Like I said, Aussie won too. They also got the win on the high jump. Big day all around in Birmingham for Australia. But I mean, to me, that was a surprise and a continuation of a trend we've seen this year with McSwain really making the most of this non-championship year.
Yeah, 354 is no time to scoff at, and the names that he beat. I mean, certainly Willis is.
Yeah.
I know he had a slow start to his season, but him and Gregson, anytime you can take them down, just continuing his breakout season for McSwain, so impressive.
Your highlight.
Well, Christian Coleman winning the. Some would say he won the Birmingham
would say.
100. Christian Coleman matching, I believe, his season's best time. We know he struggled with the injuries, but this was a really competitive race, and I think it was important for him to get a victory. You kind of highlighted it at the beginning or at the preview of the meet as a race between him and Lyles, but he was the clearly superior to Lyles here. Now Lyles obviously more of a 200 guy, but I think it's important for him to get the win. And as you pointed out, some good Nike branding on those shoes, as we can clearly see.
Look at that left foot.
The Victor, just do it. And that's exactly what he did there over Reese Prescott. Although I think Prescott's also a Nike athlete, so either way you shake
Nike
it.
wins either way.
Yeah. But no, an important race for him going into the Diamond League finals.
And more U.S. versus Great Britain.
Yeah, there you
Yes.
go.
I'm ready for the rivalry
Yeah.
there.
Me too.
Race we didn't mention there, the men's 800 with Emmanuel Career was pretty good as well. But
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't maybe as fast for some guys like Clayton Murphy,
Right.
who we've kind of talked about. Maybe having a race where he could chase a PR. He was not in the mix over the last 400 meters, but it was obviously Emmanuel Career continues to be the class of the 800.
so now we look ahead to the Diamond League finals. The fields are set for Zurich and Brussels. Your most interesting. If you could only watch one race, what would it be?
Yeah, and I think I have the men's 5,000, and that would not typically be a standout.
Well, it's your choice. You don't.
Yeah.
You want to sign this. This wasn't homework.
Oh, right. I did a straw poll. Let's see. The men's 5,000, and I'm going to highlight this later in a post later in the week. No one.
Just promoting.
Yeah, just at Lincoln Strike. The men's 5,000, no one has broken 13 minutes. This has been mentioned frequently in and around the track world this year. No one's broken 13 minutes so far in 2018. For a number of factors, there's a lot of big names that have exited the 5K scene in recent years. They've come close with the 13:01 by Berhanu. I forget his last name, but they've come close.
Was that in the race where he almost got pulled down?
Yes, that was the famous short. Well, he was the guy that
got
jet
pantsed.
streamed. I think he jet streamed around.
Borrega.
Oh, no, that's
Well,
right.
that's the
Borrega.
So that's the interesting part, right?
Yeah.
If Kajelka doesn't grab Borrega's
is there a
shorts,
sub
Borrega
13?
probably goes on and runs
Yeah.
sub 13.
Yep,
Right.
that's right.
And then we don't have history setting up here because the last time someone didn't break 13 for the men in the year is 1993.
Yeah.
So it might be a twist of fate and a shorts pull that
It's
turns 2018.
and that obviously opens us up to Illuminati theories and all the. No, I'm just kidding.
More on that later. This
Talk
week on
about
Lincoln
the
Pace.
5,000 final.
Yeah.
Who's in it? Who do you want to see? I know Paul Chalimo is in there.
Yeah, Chalimo's won a Diamond League. You obviously have Borrega and Balu. Those are the guys, two of the fastest guys. Borrega has run 12:55. It's just we know this field. It could be a race that produces a bunch of sub 13. When you have Kajelcha.
Wait.
Bunch.
You really think someone's going to break 13?
It could.
There's
No.
no rabbits.
It could be a race that produces that, but
bunnies.
but with no rabbits.
Zero bunnies.
And the fact that $50,000 is on the line, it's the Diamond
Yeah.
League final. It won't. It won't. So it's just gonna be interesting.
Would be very 2018 if it did, though. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
I mean, we know the Olympic final 2 years ago went 13:03 or whatever it
Sure.
was. So I mean, it's not. That's still above 13 minutes, but
Yeah, I was like, wait, where are you going with this?
Very good. All right, my race. I think it's going to take a breather on that one.
can I get a juice?
My race.
Travis Juice.
This is easy. Women's 1500. You have Shelby Houlihan racing for the first time since she set the American record in the 5,000 in Houston. You have Jenny Simpson also there for the United States. Caster Semenya, Laura Muir, Sifin Hassan. Shut it down. I don't need to see anything else. This is the race I've been waiting for. Talked about no rabbits. Kind of a shame in one way, although I'm pretty anti-rabbit in general, because Houlihan could get the American record in this race. Shelby could get the American record here. She might still be able to do it because with people like Muir and Semenya and Jenny Simpson, like those are people who are unafraid to take the lead, although Semenya doesn't really do it in a 1500, but the names are there. The last 800 is going to be absolutely insane. And we need an exclamation mark at the end of Shelby Houlihan's season, which has been basically exclusively exclamation marks. But I want to see at least one more race, and we're going to get it in the women's 5,000. Is there a picture that better defines Shelby Houlihan's season than that one? Shout out to Kirby Lee. She's flying, guys, she's flying across the finish line.
Yeah. It's been the year of the French bread? Is that's she's all about
French bread Friday.
Yep, that's right.
So she's just she's undefeated, right? So far on the outdoor track. Is that
yes,
true?
She is.
Facts.
Your mind still goes back to years past when you mention Muir, Simpson, Hassan, and Semenya. You're like, no, Shelby Houlihan, she won't beat them there. But it's just like you remember we're not in 2016, 2017 anymore.
It's a pre-2018 mentality.
Right. And I think she's gonna win. I think she's fitter than everyone else. I think she's gonna take it. So an American record, no, but yeah, I think she's gonna win.
I don't put much past her anymore at this point, though. I've been thoroughly impressed with her season. But
your pick, Jenny.
my pick, men's 800, that is set up to be quite the race. So we have all these different elements, right? We have the world leader in Emmanuel Career. Not only does he have the fastest season's best, but he also has the fastest PR. He ran 1:42.01 in London, and this past weekend he threw down another 1:42.
Yeah.
And also he defeated a lot of the guys he's going to be seeing in the Diamond League final in that race. So he has the best momentum, and also he probably has a considerable psychological edge on those people after those couple races. In addition to that, 5 of the top 10 fastest men this season have qualified. And there's a lot of Kenyans in there.
Yeah.
So I think it's 5, right? 5 or 6?
It is old.
It's 5.
Yeah.
So 5 have qualified.
Kitlett's in there who ran really well with him.
Yeah.
He really helped him get to that 144 because in that last 200, that was the only one there, and then Career did the head bob.
Yes.
What do we think of the head bob, by the way?
It works for him.
Yeah, there's
I like it.
So many people throughout history that have had not the greatest finishing form, but they make it work.
It's just so distinctive.
Yeah.
You're never gonna not know who Emmanuel Career is.
You know when he's got a good hand, to use the poker analogy. We know when he's going all out, and this was when that breaks out. So.
The head bob.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
And we also have some interesting U.S. stakes in there. So Clayton Murphy. Right?
Yeah.
So he had
Bounce back race now.
Yep. Will he bounce back from Birmingham? He's the 3rd fastest man of 2018. But he definitely didn't look at it like it last weekend.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like maybe he started to shut it down a little bit in the last 100 when he didn't have it over that final 200. So maybe saving himself a little bit after knowing he didn't quite have his A game.
Yeah, that could be.
So it certainly will be interesting to see what Murphy does.
Before we move on to the last segment, got some breaking news out of the EAA meets.
Yes.
Ronnie Baker, 988.
I thought you were going to bring up. We were talking before Colleen.
Well, she's in the conversation too, but we have a new top
this is
story.
More breaking.
Yes.
Breaking her.
Very good. English major, folks. We were talking before air about the difference between Harvard education and where Lincoln went to
We just
school.
found it.
And there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
988 ties the world lead at the EAA Chorzów meet in Poland. Colleen Quigley won the 1500, ran 403.
And that's a PR for her.
Yeah, just want to update.
403 low.
Yeah. So now the list this year for the men's 100, Lyles at 988, Baker at 988 twice. So tie goes to the guy who does it twice. I don't know what the rule is for true world leader. You factor in the wind. I'm not sure. I didn't see the wind reading on this one.
Yeah, just another. I know it's not a Diamond League meet, obviously, but another sign that Baker is probably, would you say, the favorite?
More breaking news. 987, it appears.
Corrected.
It's been rounded down.
Oh, my.
You don't get that often.
There we go.
That's a world lead?
That is a world lead.
Yeah.
So 987. I'm looking at the wind right now. On here, it is a... Oh, man.
When you have that good of a sprinter coming to your meet.
Looks like minus 0.1, but it's cut off on the text I got from Gordon.
So into a massive
Thanks, G.
headwind.
Second place, Mike Rogers, 1010. Ramaguliev, 1021. Asaf Appel, 1034. There you go. Minus 0.1 wind. Officially
What did Guliev run?
something more than 10 seconds.
Oh, he ran 987 in a race where the second place guy was 1010?
Yeah,
Wow.
Rogers. So we got to check
watch
that out.
that later.
We're going to watch that. We need to pull that up for next week's show or something.
Yeah.
Happening right now on FloTrack. We mentioned Colleen Quigley, the 403,
Yep.
personal best. The other things you might have missed, that weren't happening as we were recording. NACAC confusion.
Oh,
Yes.
NACAC. Oh, NACAC.
Lincoln, take it away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be over here looking for more splits.
Let's see if we can
Wind
make
readings.
this intelligible. So the NACAC championships
Right in that
were-
camera right there.
We're
Just talk to the people.
Just zoom in. NACAC championships were 2 weeks ago in Toronto. All the information from the NACAC meet indicated that winners of the all the events would receive A standards for the 2019 World Championships in Doha, as was the case in previous years. I have to assume in all previous years.
Area champions.
The area champions would receive an A standard, but that has been changed by the IAAF this year. They're going to release a new criteria that's based on world rankings, a new system. So it is no longer the case that you can get an A standard, World Championship A standard at area championships. The problem existed that in the NACAC manual, it said completely the opposite. It said
Yes.
that, that basically the old system where you get an A standard was still the case. And then obviously the USATF copied that and said that to American athletes who were going to go. And so that was the problem. There was even some confusion for some Caribbean athletes, among them Shelly Ann Fraser-Price.
Shelby Ann is so good. She's taking people's names.
Shelly Ann Fraser-Price was on video
Yep.
saying that she thought it was a bye to the World
not
Champions.
just an A standard, but a bye.
Just a direct plane ticket to Qatar for next October. So a lot of confusion, but it has been cleared up. No, it's not an A standard. It's going to be based on world rankings, and we think the A standards are going to be more challenging than they ever have been this upcoming season in 2019. So something to watch for.
To be announced on November 1st.
Yes, correct. Yep, November 1st.
Cross-country countdowns are going down on the site. If you haven't seen them, check them out. Today we did number 23 of our cross-country countdown. There's a shot of the number 25 individual.
There's a lot of Le Mans on our site this past
heavy
week.
Le Mans
It's
presence.
Le Mans. Yeah, two Le Mans things.
Two Le Mans.
but definitely.
I'm gonna do an Alexander Le Mans feature. Ohio State 800-meter runner to round it out. But yeah, stay tuned to the site every day. Now we're counting down one spot, and in that you have the men's team, the men's individual, the women's team, and the women's individual.
Yeah.
Finally, New York City Marathon fields got even better.
Yep.
My huddle. Sally Kipiego competing for the U.S.
Yeah.
Vivian Cherry, Mary Catani, joined Shalane Flanagan, joined Desi Linden. I mean, I was ready to have Boston Marathon be the marathon to end all marathons. But now we get Molly Huddle coming back to New York. She's the latest to announce, which is why I'm bringing her up. But maybe she can pull it off. I mean, anything is possible now, right? You
Yeah.
had the last two wins for Americans.
Yeah, it's going to be obviously interesting to see how Shalane comes back as a defending champion, and she's coming off a bad one, or relatively poor one in that ridiculous, I don't want to say ridiculous, but the Boston Marathon. Molly had a root canal and also ran in horrible conditions, and then you have the Kenyans who the former champions as well. So it's gonna be fantastic.
Early pick right now. It's August 22nd.
Oh boy.
Who you got? No, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I don't have to if I don't want to.
No, do it quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would
It's
say
a way too early prediction. So
Chariot.
Jared, that's a safe pick.
That's pretty safe. Yeah.
Top American?
Desi.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going Molly Huddle this time.
No.
I feel like she has a little bit more going in her favor this round, and I don't know. She was impressive this past season on the track as well.
What if I told you the weather in New York that day is going to be snowing?
Yeah.
6 degrees.
It's going to be snowing and 95
And they
degrees.
adjust the course to be uphill the entire time. Desi.
Desi. Yeah.
No one wins in
No
that
one.
scenario.
We all go home.
And no Yuki? I don't, man.
Is he not in the start list?
I don't know.
He might be.
He might be.
Oh, he'd win the men's race hands down.
Yeah, it's not even, they don't even.
Anything under 20 degrees, don't even have the race. Just give it to Yuki.
Yep.
He's won the race. He's proven himself. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Like I said, stay tuned to the site all week because we will continue to have the cross-country countdown.
Yep.
Actually, next couple weeks, I guess, because we're going 25 all the way down to 1.
And don't forget about Division 2 and Division 3.
And Division 2 and Division 3, courtesy of Lincoln here.
And live rankings update shows hosted by Lincoln.
Yeah.
That is also coming as well. A
For
lot of
D2 and
lot of
D3.
D2 and D3 stuff for you guys, in addition to the D1 coverage that you've been accustomed to. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Lincoln.
Yep.
Thanks again to our guest, Gabby Thomas, who was nice enough to join us. And thank you all for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys next week.